Hey, what's going on, guys? Do or Die Aces High here. And I am an avid history buff, for those of you who don't know. And when I do travel, I have a tendency to pick up souvenirs from certain places without realizing just how significant or cool they become later. So for this video, I'll just go straight into it, where I had certain friends, even Sutton the Magician, just as an example, who would ask me, how was life different before 9/11 versus after? So I live in New Jersey, not in New York City, but I've been to the city plenty of times, and I could just answer it honestly that, in a nutshell, things did not change that much. Just like with the COVID pandemic, you had certain things that happened right away where things were a little bit rocky for 6 months to a year, but we're talking about at this point things that really aren't important now, such as, they were afraid to show certain things on TV for a while after 9/11 or things like that. The things that permanently changed, such as being a little bit harder to get a plane ticket without certain paperwork, or just certain other things being a little bit higher security, I could say in hindsight that most of that was going to happen anyway. Even if 9/11 was not there to provide, a reason for why certain things are a little bit stricter, I could say as a history buff that society, the economy, and everything else is doing everything in its power to advance and evolve into something better. So when you look at something as simple as a plane ticket or something else like that, being a little bit harder to obtain, think about it that it's not harder necessarily for somebody who's just riding on the plane to go somewhere, or somebody who wants to go in the bank and take out $20,000. If they're doing it for the right reason, then yeah, it's going to be a little bit of paperwork, but it's there just to make it safer and better and easier for the people that, need to do things like that. So, as far as me traveling and, picking up souvenirs from places, there is one thing I could just show you here that is always going to be different about New York City and even life in general after 9/11. You're never going to be able to go into a gift shop or anywhere else and just buy something not quite like this, at least. Now, this keychain was like a $2 or $3 item off of a street vendor. Just something that I bought back when, I was about 11 and we were in the city about 6 months prior to the attacks. Just a basic thing off a street vendor where 11-year-old me said, hey, that's cool, ended up in my pocket, and the first time I remember was a few years later finding this thing while cleaning and saying, oh wow, I better not lose that, you're never going to see something like that ever again. And it's been over 20 years where I can still say that, although life is mostly the same as it was, where, things just changed the way they were going to, you always have certain reminders such as this, that not everything is going to be quite the same, but, it's going to be different, I guess, for people that, lived through it versus didn't. As far as anything for that day for September 11th, I am not a veteran and, obviously was not there physically for any of the stuff like that. So that's why this is not a video about anything graphic to do with 9/11. But things like this are always going to be something cool that I could have, displayed up in the house or something and, just always have a good reminder of, certain things not being the same, but life goes on. All right, guys, stay safe out there.